Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Money Morning Meetup. I want to make sure that we are live on YouTube, and I'm going to let our audience in as we go into the top of the hour right now. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, if this is your first time joining us for the Monday Morning Meetup, you can join us every Monday. We're actually on Zoom every Monday by going to tycohen.com/MMM. Right, and I'm going to let everyone in. I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to start re-recording, and we will be good to go. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Hopefully everyone's had a good weekend. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm trying something new this morning. I've got my AirPods in. Thank you, Philip. Actually, I'm going to switch it to the mic yet. Now they are. So I just switched it. If you can hear me, give me a thanks, Philip. If you guys give me, thank you, Chris. Awesome. All right. So hopefully everyone has had a great weekend. Welcome to the Monday Morning Meetup. I'm actually going to start the recording all over again. I'm going to stop it and then start it because we have more people that are coming in here. And I want it to be the best that it could possibly be. So here's how we do it. We're going to record to the cloud. Boom. Welcome to the Monday Morning Meetup. My name is Ty Cohen. And with my co-host, Caroline Trainer, who should be joining us in just a couple of minutes, we bring you the best of the best as relates to business, life, finances, education, spirit, and everything outside of that as well. So today we're going to talk about how do you deal with overwhelm when running a business? So how do you deal with the overwhelm of being a one-person or two-person or three-person show, and you've got everything that's coming in at you from all angles, right? The good, the bad, the ugly. And how do you process things? Like, how do you know which order to work on things? And how do you know which to internalize and what not to really put too much effort on and what you should put too much effort on? So we'll talk about how to overcome overwhelm when running your business here. Who here, I want to ask you guys a quick question and an honest question. Who here at sometimes feels overwhelmed when running your business? And I'm going to raise my hand as well here, right? Because I think it's something that never goes away. I think it's something that we always learn to deal with because as a business owner, especially if you're looking to get better at it, right? If you're looking to grow your business, you're always going to be learning new things. Whether you're going to be learning new things that takes you into a different space that helps to grow your business, or you're going to be bringing people on and learning how to deal with those people. Even if you get it to a point where you have a much larger business and you're bringing on management, it's going to be the first time where you have to really figure that out, right? You're bringing on a new writer. You're bringing on a graphic designer. You're figuring this stuff out for the very first time, even if you have instruction. And a lot of our courses in our training programs, we share with you guys some of the things that you should be doing. But there's still this level of overwhelm that goes with that, right? So we're going to be talking about that. And Caroline, great morning. I see you are here. I'm going to add you
Great,
actually.
great morning. So we've just had the final appointment for my mum. So you'll be happy to know that from Mondays I'm going to be here on time, not
There you go.
driving in at 1 o'clock. There you go. No overwhelm. I don't know what overwhelm is. I've never experienced it. Philip will tell you
Not at
that.
all.
No.
Yeah.
And but it was we were chatting about this before, weren't we? And obviously in relation to
Yeah.
10x is easier than 2x. And I think in business, one of the hardest things is when you're starting, because there's so much you can do, especially if you're publishing. Um, but it's also when you're trying to expand as well, when you get to that level and you're trying to 10x or even 2x at that point, that's when because this is often the time when you potentially don't have as much knowledge as you think you need. But
And
big
that's the
emphasis
key
on
as
the
you
word
think you need.
think you need.
Yeah.
or you don't have enough people that you think you need, and then it can spiral. But anyway, yeah, we're going to get onto that. How are you, Ty? How was your weekend? You probably shared that already.
Yeah, it was busy. It was busy.
Yeah, you
So
said.
we're working on, we were doing everything. Actually, we're doing some work in the backyard, getting in the backyard. Me and my son Tyler. I like going out in the backyard and working with him because it's kind of therapeutic. And him and I, we just go in and sometimes we'll have conversations and we're just chatty patties. And then other times we can be out in the backyard for like an hour or two and not say anything, outside of a, hey, pass me that hose, you know. But it's always really fun. We're actually going to go back out after this and do a little bit more. We've got a big party coming up this Saturday for my mother-in-law. She's turning 75, and I'm ready to celebrate her because, life is really cool. And for someone to get to, all of our birthdays, whether it's 30, 35, 70, 75, 72, right? I think that we should take those serious and we celebrate those things. And I never used to be like that. I never was the party guy, and I'm like, oh, it's my birthday. Okay, fine. Let's we'll go out to eat. Then I'm come back and do some work,
Yeah.
right? But I'm learning
Yes,
to
it's awesome.
appreciate life even more.
Yeah, for
It's
sure, for sure. Um, I ditto over here, doing some special things. So actually, next Monday, I won't be with you because we're going to
yep,
Switzerland. So we're going away for a week and taking Indy on his dream vacation. This is one
vacation.
place he's wanted to go, to Switzerland, and he's just done one of his. He's doing three. They call them A levels over here, so it's just like pre-uni
Okay.
qualifications. So they're a big deal, and he's just done one of them a year early. I think this is what Summer did, didn't she? She did a load of things a year early, but actually in
Yeah.
this intake, all the class, because they're all at a high level, they've all done it early, which is fantastic. So he's only got two to go, and they're big subjects. He's doing mathematics, and he's doing business was the one he's just done. He's doing physics.
Wow.
um,
Very cool.
and so it gets that one off. So we said, okay, well, he's got this week. So we're gonna take advantage of that and go off to Switzerland. So we're flying at we got a crazy flight time where we're just like traveling to the airport through the night and fly at 6 a.m. in the morning. So
You're doing
um,
one of Melida's. That's my wife's always. I mean, she kills me with those damn 3
yeah,
o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning flights. I'm like, look, I want to. I'll pay the extra $100. Can't we just fly out at like 10 o'clock or
yeah.
whatever it is? But
I was like, no, it's a reward flight. We can use the points. But the funny thing is, I get overwhelmed about things like that. So that's freaking me out. So we're leaving at midnight tomorrow night. We've got a cab all the way to the airport. It's 3 hours to the airport. Um, but the amount of work before I go, and it's sort
yeah,
of like I treat it like I can't work when I'm out there, and of course I can. So I
Mhm.
get overwhelmed by little things like that and not the
Right.
big things. It's weird, isn't it, when you think about overwhelm and the effect that and how um, I get overwhelmed by a lot of sort of mum duties when I know I need to work or want to work or whatever. So it's different for everyone, isn't it? Overwhelm. I've got to
It
share
is.
something with you. I shared this with, instead of a quote, I shared this with our amazing Kindle Vella students last night because we did our training last night. Week 5 of our training, Ty. Five
Wow, time is
weeks,
flying.
6 weeks
Yeah.
since we did the challenge. It's insane. So they're getting, they're over halfway now and already getting results. It's incredible. So I shared this because it's just when it's relevant to what we're talking about today. When we're feeling like we've got so much to do, and I bet we all feel like this. I'm like busier than anyone else, so much to do, or I want to double my income or 10x my income, whatever it is. I'll move from 2x to 10x, which is what I'm doing at the moment. Um, how can I sort of do that step by step, and what's the process? And I was thinking about that a lot yesterday, and then I thought, oh, that'd be good to talk about it today. And the interesting thing is that I was walking around the garden It was really sunny yesterday. Well, I was thinking after I put the washing on the line, and I was thinking, okay, well, um, sometimes it's about when you want to really expand or start a business or expand your business. Often it's about trusting yourself that you could do it, and believing in yourself that you've got it in you to do it. And or you can find a way, but also the danger is, and this is where I got to, that you're like chasing it and trying to grab it, any way you can, the success or the money, whatever you want to call it. And so the day before, I'd had a conversation with Pralad. I don't know if he's here today. I don't think he might not
I don't
be.
think I
I
saw
don't think
him
he is.
now.
Okay. And he's like a financial coach, because he's like a financial tax expert. So I was talking to him about, business and registering business in America or in Dubai or whatever. And we were going through that. And then he started reflecting back some things. And he was saying to me, you got to know, like we all are, you're amazing just as you are. You don't need to change now to become what you want to become. You've just got to literally intend it, let it go, and just get on with it every day. And so I was going around the garden saying, why do I get this overwhelm? The training was coming up in the evening. I want to do a good job. We've got loads of things we're doing there, loads of expansion after that. I'm launching another pen name. I'm walking around the garden thinking, I'm still in that chat. I was thinking, I bet Ty's not doing this today. Chasing the ideas, chasing the. So I was walking around the garden like that, and I
I'm
said, no,
always chasing the ideas in my head.
are you
I
good?
can't
So it's
turn
not
them
just me.
off.
I'm
Yeah.
sure we're all as bad. So I was going around thinking, okay, no, you're amazing just as you are. We all are. I tell the children this every day, and they know it. They just know it.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to get a coffee and sit in the garden. It's gorgeous, and I'm just going to chill out for a while and then get on with some work. And Indy came to me with this little note, and I know you probably can't read it. Oh, hold on, I can't even do it the right way.
Hold it right there. There you go.
Positive pills, right?
Positive pills. There you
Yeah.
go.
And me not trusting anyone said, who the hell would put that through the door? What does that mean? What's inside that? Oh no.
Right.
And my immediate reaction was, is it like a threat letter or something? I've never had one of those. We're in a really safe area, but I don't know why. I immediately thought, okay. And he said, it said positive pills. It's like a kid's writing. And he said, I looked out the window. Honestly, you couldn't make this up. You could not make this up. And I swear I'm not lying today. Please believe me. So he said
Today,
this, and
she
I went,
says.
yeah, I normally do. No. And I said, positive pills. That's right. He said, what does that mean? And I said, oh, maybe it's like a positive affirmation or something. It's
Yeah.
like a pill every day. And he said, shall I open it? And it's got a little cap. This kid has drawn a little cat paw on the back. So then maybe it's something to do with cat protection or something, charity or
Mm.
something. And Indy said, I saw this boy just like put them through the doors, not just ours. And there's only 2 houses here, but and then he cycled off on a bike. I thought, okay, well, that doesn't sound very dodgy. That sounds quite. And I opened it up, and it says, and this is really small writing, you are amazing just the way you are. Are you kidding me? I'd literally just been thinking about it.
Wow.
Did you see that?
Look at that.
Um,
Yeah.
and I said to Indy, you are not going to believe what I was thinking in the garden.
And this is just a random kid that put it out
Kid
there?
through the door. I mean, did he put it through other people's door? Was it just ours? Is it a school project that they've told them to do something really positive at the weekend, and he's brainstormed with his parents and they've said, oh, wouldn't it be great to because times are hard for people generally out there, aren't there? There's a lot going on in the world. A lot of people are struggling,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
most humans are suffering in one way or the other in different aspects. And maybe he thought, that would be a great exercise to do, to put little gifts through people's door to make their day. I said to Indy, I literally was just saying this, and Prahlad was saying this to me yesterday.
Confirmation.
Confirmation. And then Indy said,
Yeah.
do you know what, Mum? I was just at my computer doing my work, and I just thought I was getting a bit stressed about my maths. He's got more tests this week. He said, you know what? I said to myself, because I've brainwash my kids. He said to myself when I was at the computer, I said, no, don't feel this fear. Your mind is like Google. You're just as you're amazing just as you are. You're perfect as you
Mhm.
are. And he said that, and then it came through the door for him. He ran up to Maliha. Guess what just came through the door? She's like, oh yeah, right. You know.
She thought
So
he was playing a trick.
yeah, so
Yeah.
miracle. That's a miracle, isn't it? And I think often people think a miracle is, $100,000, $1 million dropping from the sky in the morning when you've meditated. And it sort of doesn't often happen like that. You can win the
Yeah.
lotto, but um, normally the alignment is where you get an idea. Oh, you know what? That would be a really good thing to do. So you get an idea and then you go and do it. And that turns into the wealth or whatever. And like we get those all the time, don't we? Oh, wouldn't it
All
be
the
great
time.
if I, did this? And they're flowing, those sorts of things all the time. So, but I just thought that just shows you the likelihood of that happening. That's never happened in my life. The likelihood of that happening, what is it, angels? Is it like dad sending me the message? He's always hanging around. Or is it universe, God, whatever people want to call it? And I thought, there you
Yeah.
go. No more fear. No more of that knot in your stomach when you start thinking about spending more on ads and taking big risks, um, and all those sorts of things. Because I'm now spending more than I've ever spent on ads, and it's paying off. So like, and so
Which is in
it's
itself probably overwhelming starting out initially, right?
what it
It's
is. Yeah, because
yeah.
Amazon's got this habit of when you make your first big month, you got to wait 2 months for that to come through. So it's the cash flow.
Yep.
It's the cash flow, and the cash flow has always been something that has been an issue for a lot of people, including me. So, but then obviously once you get to that 2 months, and then those royalties continue, then you've got the
Yeah.
cash flow. It's just that
The
temporary
continuation.
piece, isn't it? Which is why people, seek funding and different things for a few months. Um, and so I just thought that's what I was fearing about. I know I need to spend a certain amount every day now to get to the top 200
Yeah.
in this genre. And I know that what I've done so far is working really well. So it was just a lot of thoughts around that, and then the new Vela business and everything we want to do, and will do. And then all the other things I want to do. And it was just those thoughts at that time, that little positive pill came through the door. So I'm going to cherish that.
Perfect timing.
Perfect little boy doing that. And how good will he feel after doing that? I bet he feels so good. I bet his days just go really well this week because he did something
How old
so
was he,
nice.
would you say? You
Well,
say he's
he
about
was
10, 11, 12?
he was cycling. So Indy thought, because it was a weekend, it's not in a uniform, so you sort of can't tell as well what school, what year,
Ah,
that sort of thing. Indy thought
yeah.
about 10. Cute. Um, you know, just a cute thing to do. And I wonder how many people just went, oh my gosh, that's really sweet. If he did it in numerous houses. Um,
I
who
wonder how
knows?
many people said that, yeah, like, oh, this is really sweet. Oh, that's a cute little note, and dismissed it.
Mm-hmm.
Versus how many got the note and said, oh my gosh, or oh my God, or whatever you guys,
Yeah.
right? Like how many really internalized it and like you did. I I would guess, and me knowing, thinking I know the universe in a way, but I know it, that it was only you.
Yeah.
And that particular message only came to you because it was supposed to come to you, right? It's like when I was in London and I'm going over and me and my wife were walking and there's thousands of people walking and I see this sign. I had a question in my mind, I forget what it was, and I need a confirmation. I see this sign, and the sign literally just said, the signs are everywhere.
Yeah. I
And I'm
remember
like,
that
oh
story.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Like a random sign, huge
Yeah.
as hell, that says the signs are everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and
I,
that is it. The signs are
That's
everywhere.
it. That's it. I remember when we were in Stockholm, 3 years ago, and I was walking with Anisha, and we're on it was a network marketing trip. We got a trip there, and we were walking over this bridge, and no, we'd gone over the bridge, and then Anisha was saying we were talking about things, and I said, you know what, the secret of life is just to feel as good as you can feel as often as you can, and that's it. um,
That's
and
it.
be happy. Just be happy. And she said, yeah, absolutely. She said, that's what I think too. And then we looked, and there was some graffiti on this wall, and it
Mhm.
just said, be happy. So very similar to you. And I'm thinking, it happens when I'm driving a lot,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and so, and so why is it then often when we get in the trenches of the action, okay, all right, okay, well, I thought that, that pen name was going to take off before in the first series that I was really excited about, and it hasn't quite yet, but we then look at taking stock. Why is it we don't believe in these moments and say, if that can happen, $1 million can
Okay.
happen? Because as Abraham Hicks says, it's easy to create a button as it is a castle. It's the same energy. And that's all abundance is: energy, wealth, money, different things, they're all energy. But
They're all energy. Yeah. And I hear I think someone's
me
on mute.
too.
Oh,
I don't think
Jane.
it's mine.
Jane Gray, I'm gonna meet you out there. So number one, the signs are everywhere, right? And we see these signs. I don't think that they are far and few between. I think we see them multiple times. We get hit over the head with them sometimes. They're that
Yeah,
obvious. We're
yeah,
just stubborn as humans, and we're ingrained with the way that we continue to do things in the same way. I did a training on, I think it was Saturday, Friday or Saturday. So one of these past days. These days have been just running by, right? And I did a training on how to get velocity and traction without spending a lot of money on ads. And one of the things I talked about was Napoleon Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil, and how one of the devils, and we're talking about the devil, and it could be literally, it could be figuratively, right? You take it as the way, whichever way you want. But one of the ways that the devil keeps us from reaching our full potential is through resistance, right? It may be just a resistance of, I can't do that. I'm not, I'm not Caroline. I'm not Ty, right? I'm not Aaron. I'm tired right now, right? Or all of a sudden feeling this headache that comes on, or all of a sudden having overwhelm. Oh my God, there's just too much to do today. So I'm just not going to do anything.
mm,
Resistance. And what I've been doing, and me and Russell Brunson were talking about this actually at the event that I went to a couple of weeks ago, because coincidentally, he started going, and this is no coincidence actually. He started going through the book again, just as I started going through it again. So we had this
right.
little short conversation about it. And one of the things that he started to do was keep a resistance tracker just in his phone.
Wow.
And I started to
Res-
do the same thing right then and there. I'm like, oh my God, that's dope. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. So I started to create these resistance notes
wow, that's
whenever
great.
I get, yeah, and what you're doing is, look, anything that you measure, you can improve. So resistance counter, right? So I
Yeah,
don't know if you probably can't see that, but here's one. So I was doing some work yesterday, and all of a sudden, I'm starting to feel sleepy.
yeah,
Resistance. Like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Let me get up from my desk, right? Go take a walk, get a sip of tea or whatever it might be. Then I noticed later on, I wanted to just, in my head, it said, go take a shower. Now, I had just taken a shower in the morning. But all of a sudden, at 2 o'clock, I get the bright idea that I should just go take a shower in the middle of the day for
yeah,
no reason. It's a distraction, resistance, right?
yeah,
And then later, it's check Instagram, resistance. Then
yeah,
later, my eye was bothering me, something, a little piece of dirt or that I felt, right?
yeah,
And then after that, uh, I just wanted to randomly go out for dinner. So I'm telling Mal, hey, we should just go out for dinner, right? So all of these little things, now some of them are good, right? Like going out for dinner with the family, things like that. But the Instagram distraction,
yeah.
the YouTube, the checking of Facebook to see if someone liked or responded to your
See if I'm
post, right?
loved. Yeah,
Yeah, see if I'm
yeah,
loved, all of
yeah,
this stuff, right? So in all of these little things, and once you start to track them, they happen sometimes dozens of times a day. And I
yeah.
think that
And
I'm a person that is really disciplined, right? So if I'm getting like think about if you don't have the discipline, if you don't have a certain level of awareness of where you're at, they're probably impacting us dozens to hundreds of times a day in different
yeah,
ways. the random phone call, the
Yeah.
text, right?
Yeah.
So all of these things add on to our overwhelm. And then when we add on that resistance, which we're not aware of until we purposely start to become aware of it, and then all of the other things, getting a notice from Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe your ghostwriter has ghosted you. Maybe
Hmm.
your graphic designer can't get that image, that book cover right for the fifth time. You're starting to get frustrated as hell, right? All of those things add on to that overwhelm. And how do you deal with it? So the way that you deal with it is you understand that it's going to get better. For me, this is the way I deal with it. I understand that it's going to get better. So now, like when we do a training, if I do a training, and I actually talked about this on this training when I did it. I said, look, right now I'm about to do this training. First time I've ever done it, never done it before, presented it ever, right? If this was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I would have been afraid as hell to do this. I would have felt like I was going to die inside,
Hmm.
right? But it's after doing it. When Willie and I we do our trainings on a Tuesday or Wednesday, right? Even with that, before once 3 o'clock comes, I would have been like, oh my gosh, like I want to make sure that it comes out right. Make sure that we're giving people the best of the best. Make sure I don't have a booger hanging out of my nose. All of these insane things that come to mind, right? But now it gets easier and easier as you do it.
Yeah, and you do, and that thought that comes up that it's like a you're looking forward to it, but also there's some angst around
Yeah.
um what you're doing, or if you feel like you're not prepared, and all of those things. So it's, I guess the other thing is when you're in that overwhelm, knowing it's going to get better. But then a good one that I do is, okay, how far have I come from the weakest
The
time
gap
or
in the
the
game.
worst time? How far have I come? Write it down, because you'll bet everyone gets that in the day. So those resistance pieces in the day, I guess what you're saying is a lot of them can be like the physical, the distractions, the feeling
Yeah.
sleepy, and then you've got the emotional,
Hmm.
which will be around the fear, more prevalent probably in the early years of building your business. um, Potentially. You probably
And I don't
nailed
think
that,
that
but
goes away.
right,
We have
great.
KCF Live that's coming up. Look, KCF Live is coming up in what, 6 weeks, 4, 5 weeks or so.
Yeah,
Every single day for the last 2 weeks, for the last 3 weeks, every day, 5 or 6 times a day, I'm thinking about it.
yeah,
What are we going to present? How's it going to look? What's the schedule? I mean, probably about 20 different times a day, different things,
yeah.
right?
And
So
that,
it
yeah,
doesn't ever go
even though
away.
you've been doing them for a couple of years. And in fact, it's the third
Yeah.
year this year, isn't it, that we've been doing 21? We started them. April 21 was the
20,
first one.
yeah, yep,
April 21
third of
was
the
the
year.
first
Yeah.
on Zoom. Yeah, wow.
So
Uh,
this is about the 10th or 12th one that we've done.
yeah, it is. But you see,
Yeah.
that's because when you care, then you're inclined, when you care about something, then you're inclined to put some extra emotion of worry or thinking about it all the time or whatever. But, there's an element of that being important, because that gets you to think, how's it going to work this time? How are we going to do it? Are we
Yeah.
going to change it? But then there's an element of, whoa, that just take the action and file it away. It
Yeah.
doesn't quite work like that with a life, but um and then it sort of becomes a little bit overwhelming because it's taking over your day. And I guess the other things that the resistance are the things like feeling like you've got a lack of knowledge, or even having a lack of knowledge when you start a business is resistance, isn't it? we
Yeah.
were we were really resistant when we were doing our Kindle Vella challenge, because we were in the back end on the looking at the tech, and we'd never done that before online. So, but now we've done it. Next one will be a breeze. So there's, often it's the first time you do something. So I guess then what you do, you have your resistance tracker. So you write it down. This is resistance to you. Is that what you're writing there?
I write it down. Yeah. I
Yeah,
notice everything.
it's
I'm
going to get
becoming
better.
more aware of it. And then, so it's an exercise, right? So you're exercising that muscle, you're strengthening that muscle. So now it's easier to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of the day, all of a sudden I want to go get a cookie. It's resistance. Number one, you don't need the damn cookie. What's it gonna do for you? Number two, it's a distraction. It's taking you away from whatever it might be, right? Whether you're in the backyard and you know, cleaning up
Yeah,
things and prettying up the area, or you're working on your business. So
yeah.
and those start and stops take you away from your business, right? It's like every time you stop, then you got to gear yourself back up to start all over again. And
Yeah.
it's exactly what you said. The things that you care about, like if you care about something, then it's going to be top of mind,
Hmm.
right? So my two oldest kids, I used to tell them that all the time. Like, look, you guys are top of mind. That's because I care about you. Now, and this is why I'll say certain things, and it might seem like me coming down on you and being hard, but if I didn't care, I wouldn't say anything. And
You
that's
said that
when,
to me before.
oh yeah, I said that to you before. Yes, I actually did. I said, look, Carol, this is stupid. Because you guys had to pray for me. You guys had to pray for me and Caroline when we were putting together the Vela challenge. Because
And
I'm like,
Erin.
look,
Yeah.
there's certain people I just won't say anything, right? And if you don't say anything to someone, then that just you can't care for someone if you're not saying anything, especially when you see them not going in the direction that you know that they're capable of going in,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
Caroline, look, the only reason why I'm saying this is because I care about you.
I think I
Uh,
shouted as well at you, didn't I?
yeah, did I sound frustrated when I said that or what? Because I think we were both getting, we
Yeah.
were having fun there.
But you know what? That was great because the learning, the
Mhm.
growth that comes out of those sort of things. But often when you don't take the feedback, that's your own resistance as well. And I'm very stubborn with feedback.
I am
So
too.
that's resistance. Yeah. And so I think um, it's interesting, isn't it? Because and when you're doing anything like that, you can't get away with not caring when you choose to do a business. Because if it's your books, you're going to care about your readers and your writers
Yep.
and nurture your team. You're going to care about them every day, and you're going to care about your readers, that you're giving them the best experience you can and delivering what they want
Yeah.
and keeping them on board and all those things. And then in the sort of business that we do as well, you're going to care about your community. I was just saying this to Philip, yesterday, or I think it was Philip, or was it Pralad the day before, that, God, I love these guys, Kindle Cashflow, the whole community. They're just like this, never known anything like it, this online family it doesn't feel like it's online. The
And it
love
keeps
and
growing
care.
and growing.
You just want everyone to be happy, and
Yep.
you do the best you can. You can't please everyone, of course, but I think when you come from a place like that, then the universe will just take care of the resistance and help you move it out of the way. You may feel resistant like in the garden yesterday and you get that through the door, or you may feel resistance and then you get a lovely review from a reader, or someone gives you a hand and you think, wow, I'm so lucky. And I think, it's about the resistance tracker. But then what I do is every single thing, something nice comes in, something, someone in the day, I'll write that down, because the majority of the day is like that. I'm like, whoa, I'm
Yeah.
so lucky. And, I've got people helping and people just that I trust, in business and all of these things. You think, wow, that's just a real gift. And then you've got to congratulate yourself for that. I attracted that. I attracted those 100 subscribers I've now got. Now I've launched
Yep.
my first book, that's huge. And I think it is about just literally when you're going through your resistance tracker, and I love that because writing it down gets rid
Start
of,
to take
clears the energy, doesn't it, as well?
it does. It's
Um,
it's it's it, it's the best one of the best things I ever got from my mom. She said write stuff down. Well, she was talking about money. Because I was 14 working at Walgreens Pharmacy, right? Got my first job there, and I would get these checks at the, you know, whatever it was, $30, $40, $80. And then, the next week the money's gone. And I'm like, what the hell did I do with my money? Right. And she said, anything that you don't measure, you don't track, you're never going to know what you've done with it. So she would keep this little small pocket notebook, and she would write everything down at the grocery store. And I often wondered what was it she was writing down. And when I got that job, and I'm just venting, like, oh my God, I have what's going on? I just had money Friday, and now I have no money. It's Wednesday. She said, son, you're not writing down what you're spending. Of course, you're not going to know where your money went. But if you start writing down what you're spending and being more aware of it, you're going to be more conscious of what you're spending on. And that stuck with me to this day. Right.
right.
So
Yeah.
it
Interesting.
is, so all of that stuff becomes part of this overwhelm, right? It's
Yeah.
budgeting, it's the finance, it's life when life starts to hit you, right? I'm looking at the comments and Seal Band says, I just lost. There's a friend that was lost at 27 recently, just the other day, right? So how do you add that type of stuff? And our prayers go out to you and his family and everyone else, right?
Yeah.
At 20, at any age to lose someone is a tragedy, but let alone at 27.
Yeah.
So now that you add on to it, that's not resistance. That adds on to the overwhelm. I've got
Yeah.
life that's lifing, and I'm still trying to run my business. I'm still trying to take care of my customers. I'm still trying to do this. Right. So it's a combination of things, and then being able to realize when it's time to say, okay, well, I am human. I'm going to take a slight break here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And also, one of the things that Prahlad was doing is that he said he did something where it's about, a lot of the resistance can come from well, all sorts of things, and there's all sorts of things that people are experiencing. It's going to be different for everyone. But he was talking about how it's about, when you are building your business and you're in overwhelm, there's lots to do, and etc. You've got to do the whole sort of thing where you trust in yourself, you trust in the process. If you're in a program, trust it.
yep.
There's a reason why there's loads of people in that program. It works, and people are if you put in the action, it's going to, at some stage, it's going to start to move. But it's also about then trusting the universe. Don't then go, right, okay, how am I going to make this happen? I'm going to do this. The money's going to come from there. It's going to come from there. It's going to come from there. It never works out the way you think it's going to work out. I'm doing
Yeah.
things that I hadn't got on the plan. And so how did that happen? Why did I go off and start to do courses as well? And then, pen name in a completely opposite genre that I just thought I'd stay in the one I'm used to, all these different things, because it was like, oh no, I've got to do that. I know that, I know I've got to do that. It's going to be massive. Just know it. But it's going to be different for different people. But I think then it's the trusting in the universe. So this is why I need to do this a little bit more. I'm pretty sure everyone here is really good at this, but the writing the intentions, letting them go, leaving it to the universe, distract yourself and get on with it. Because he said he had, and he won't mind me sharing this because I did ask him if I could share this. He said he had, he's in the UK, and
Okay.
he's he wanted to get some property buy to let, and this was like 10 years ago, so 20 years ago. And he wrote down that he wanted 5 properties in 5 years. Just wrote that down. That's what he wanted, in London. And so, no, sorry, 3 properties in 5 years. That's what he wrote down. And he didn't have a plan. He didn't have any deposits. He didn't know how that was going to happen. And then he just let it go and forgot about it. And just thought, at some stage I need to map that out. How the heck is that going to happen? Because he's got other businesses, he was busy, children, etc. And then he said he achieved the 3 properties, but in 3 years and not 5 years. And he said what happened was it literally came from somewhere. He got given a business opportunity, with a property expert. Anyway, basically it led to the result that he wanted with no deposits down at the time. I don't know if it was commercial or
Wow.
and this was a while ago. I sort of think it's a bit different now out there, but in the UK. So but he said it's just classic. And so he reflected back that even though you think you're in alignment with this, some of the words you're saying around your tax
Yep.
planning, and you're talking about want, you're not intending it. And I'm like, do I talk like that? He said, yeah, because I was like walking and free flowing what I was saying. So the resistance is like coming out more than if it wasn't a structured meeting. And so that was interesting. So I think it's just being aware of ourselves. Oh, I'm doing that thing I do, and so I'm going to write that down. That's okay. Everyone does that. That's how I'm going to sort of ride that out, let it pass, and just ride that out. It's understandable, you know. It's going to get
Yeah.
better, as you say. So I think it's
I'm
just a
listening.
continuous work in progress, isn't it?
It is good. It is a continuous work in progress, and I'm listening to what you're saying. And as you're walking and you're talking to him at the same time, right? At the same time. So I wanted to make sure I had that right. So
Yeah,
he's hearing what you're saying because sometimes we hear what we're saying, but we still say it anyway,
yeah,
right? But if we're open to someone else listening to us and hearing what we're saying as well, they're hearing something totally different. So
yeah,
he was able to say, hey, you're not being congruent with what you're saying that you want. You're
yeah.
saying what you want, but your words and everything else, right? So I think that's beautiful. Like when you have someone that can be open in that sense, and then you're open to receiving it, and then you're like, you know what? Oh my God, I really needed that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And he said, I can only say that to you because I know, because we're actually talking about sell more books to be we in
Yeah.
that program. And that's why we started talking. Then it turned into this coaching session. The other way around though. I thought it was going to be the other way around. I love him.
Right.
And I just thought, and he said, a lot of this will be about, and it is for everyone, and women are particularly self-critical as well, just to put it out there.
Mm.
Than we are the greater sex. I'm joking. Well, sort of not, but anyway. No, I'm joking. He said that you think you're saying one thing, but the universe will be hearing something else in the way you're putting it out. So you think you're saying one
Yes.
thing, but your tone of your voice and the universe is saying something else. So unless
The
you get
energy, the
there,
emotions.
yeah. He
Yeah.
said, you've got so far, and I have, great. You've got so
Yep.
far. But if you want 10x and turn that, you know, into millions, then you're going to have to be aware of that. And then he told me about a book, which I mean, it's part of this, but I'm reading this first that I shared last week, the book that
Yep.
Philip bought me, which is insanely good. Jamie Kern Lima Worthy, because that's what it's all about for people. Um, and then he told me, and I've not downloaded it yet because I just thought if I do it, I'm going to start listening to the audio book and I'm going to get distracted. I want to get through, I want to take the Worthy book away with me. And it's by a British author, and it's called I Love Money, Money Loves Me, I think. Hold on. And he gave me some really interesting insights when he was talking through that. Where is it? Oh, it's here. When you just like get it there and scroll in, it's not
No,
coming up.
you're fine. Take your time.
So
I,
it's I
I
think
just
it
wrote down that you think you're saying one thing, but the universe is hearing something else because I think that's so powerful. I think that's something I'm actually gonna
yeah,
frame that.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
tell you, there's a really great quote he sent me as well, and I thought, wow, that's good for the Money Morning Meetup. So I will share that. This is good. The link's gone. Okay, so it's something like um uh I love money and money loves me. And it's by, like I say, a British woman, and it's so well done. And he said it's life changing. It's all about knowing, not just knowing you're worthy, but actually realizing your power. The power in the garden that created that,
Yeah.
or your sign in London, or the sign in Stockholm, and all the other daily things that happen to all of us, is the power that it's going to take to bring in everything you want, but not by taking score and chasing it and writing it down. I mean, I used to do it. That amount's going to come from there. This exact amount is coming from that series. That's coming from that, and then I'm going to do that, and the money's coming from there. Yeah, that's
You
resistance,
know
and
what?
you know,
That is resistance. It is. You know what that is like, Caroline? It reminds me of like back in, dating, right? So like back in the day, you're dating and you're chasing the man of a woman, right? The young man of a young woman. And you think you're going to make them become your person, right? And that they have no plans for that. But then if you let loose a little bit, then they're like, oh my God, well, why isn't he or she chasing me anymore? And now they are attracted to you.
Yeah.
Right. So anything that we put too much effort into, it kind of eludes us, right? It's running away from us, including finances, including the success in business, including all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Instead,
Yeah.
now you want to be smart and you want to put the effort in, right? You want to put the work in, but
Hmm.
also you don't force it because it never works out in the way that we think.
It
Go like
doesn't.
the whole resistance thing,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
the oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's like when I
No,
started publishing, I started with children's books and ended up going into a different genre, just randomly. Now I'm going
totally
to go
different
there.
genre.
And then, I was saying this to the people after I shared the positive pills note story last night to the Kindle Vella guys, and everyone's sharing their success. They've published their first book episode, and they've chosen they've uploaded the third series, or they've chosen their avatar, whatever. Or they've researched their avatar, whatever we were covering last, we were talking about where we are. And I said, it's so interesting because it's when you're looking for the guy or the woman, and then you stop looking, that you meet them in the grocery store, whatever. That's what happens. But also the
Yeah.
business is like that. So I was like, I'm still the person 3 years on, because I love looking at my royalties. So I just think it's phenomenal how you can be doing different things in the day, and then you refresh your screen and you've got 10, you've got 10 more book sales or 2,000 more page reads. And it's like that in my business now. We're talking like 3 million reads a month. It's like, oh my God, that's just so amazing. But I
And
get
it
very
never gets
obsessed.
normal.
Yeah. As you know, I'm obsessed with my next plaque. So you need to be ready
Yeah.
for that, because it's going to be now.
Oh, we got to talk about that too, so that
Yeah.
because we only have a
Um,
couple of weeks.
but it's also, I'm like, I was going, oh my God, they're going down today. And of course,
Yeah.
your royalties go a little bit like that every day, as long as it doesn't go. And I'm just doing that, looking at category. Shall I move the category? And then this was a while ago, and then I got really busy with the Vela project. The week before was really busy on that, and the week. And Maliha is great. She's literally running the publishing business with me, um,
Smart.
mentoring. Yeah. And so her and my VA and the other people in the team were running the business. Just distracted myself and didn't look, and just got on with the work with Erin. And then when I looked, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got a #1 bestseller. Quickly screenshot. So that wasn't happening at that point. But the moment I started distracting myself, cared less, because I got other things that were going on, then it comes in. And I think that's what, I'm not saying you move away from your business and don't look at it and don't do it, but the action was all in place because it's all automated. But it's classic. So as long as you're looking at your figures to take stock and get excited, that's all right. Do it all day. Do
Yeah.
it all day, that's great, because that's good energy. But if you're looking there going, oh, why is that author number 2 and I'm a number 3, or they're a number 1, then you start to be that person that is bringing in that resistance. So bring it on, that going down after that. And so it's
Yeah.
about just, I think it's about every single day taking stock of the power. You found the book, Christine. I found it too. Thank you. The power of our energy, without action, is crazy. So as long as you're then doing the aligned action, it really is magic. And that's why you look at
It is.
people, and there's billionaires that have got this lifestyle where, I know social media is incredibly deceptive. I don't really look at that much, but they're doing like the 5 or 6 hour working day, and they've got this life, they've got wealth. Wealth is freedom, isn't it? Which doesn't just mean money. Wealth and money are different. Well, you need money for the wealth, but the wealth's of freedom. So they've got the health, and they've got the family, and they've got the travel, and all the things you might want. Um, uh, and and then you're over here working, or other people are over here working 20 hours a day, and they haven't. And so there's got to be something going on. And I tell you, it's not intelligence.
No,
And
it's
that
definitely not intelligence. Trust me.
it's power.
It's not intelligence. It's not good looks. It's not always relationships and networking and all of these things that I thought that it was before I started to see some money come in, right? I thought it was intelligence. Okay, okay, well, geez, they went to school, they went to college, they went to university, right? Um, or it's good looks. Man, that guy looks amazing. Maybe that's the reason why, right? Or the network. Geez, he knows everyone. But I know people who know everyone. Like they know everyone, literally, and they still don't do anything with it. I know people that are extremely attractive and they're still not where they should be. I know
Yeah,
people that have the PhDs, the masters on, they've got the triple dipple masters, right? And they're still
yeah,
not where their potential is.
yeah,
Just like I know people who are, they barely made it out of fifth grade and they're not reaching their potential. So none of that stuff is an indicator as to where you should be. The only indicator is you and what you truly believe that you're capable of and what you believe you deserve. That's it.
that's
If you
it.
don't believe that you deserve much, you're honestly not going to have much. And it's as simple as that, to be honest with you. The universe doesn't pay attention to if you're a good person, if you're a bad person, if you're a tall person, you're a short person, black, white, yellow, young, old. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican, a Democrat. The primary factor is what do you truly deserve, more than just saying it. And that's where it gets tricky
And that's
because
where,
of
yeah,
all of the
that's,
variables.
yeah, yeah,
Right? You can look at your numbers, you can look at other people online, you could look at, your peers and you start to say, well, they're doing it. And why is this? And that's when it gets tricky, controlling the waves that you're putting out there,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And doing that literally hundreds of times a day,
yeah. Just being
taking
really
stock in it.
picky with your thoughts and picky with your words. That's the
Yep.
key. Picky with your thoughts and picky with your words. And humans have got a habit of forgetting that, and we do it. We spiral and we have days when we're needing to take a checkup from the neck up days, and
Yeah.
or feeling the in the trenches doing admin all the time when you want to be doing other things, but there's a period of time when you have to do that. I was saying that to Philip as well. I was saying, Ty was his support department, his everything department when he started for a while before he expanded.
Yeah.
So
And I hated
you're
it.
going to have
I sucked at it.
that
I was the
customer
worst. I got
service.
merchant accounts shut down because I was so terrible at it. Oh my
Yeah,
God, I was
I'm not very
the
good at it.
absolute worst.
Yeah,
Not giving refunds, not because I didn't want to, but because I wasn't checking email and support tickets that came in. And
yeah.
so when I got Sherry wasn't even my first person. It was a lady, Tanya, before her. And she was great for like the first year. And then she got as bad as I got. And then I brought on someone else and then I
And then
brought on,
Sherry's been with you
you
for like
know,
20 years or something, hasn't she?
yeah,
Oh,
she's
she's
been
so
around
good.
me for like 14 years, I think, or so. Yeah,
Oh,
it's been
wow.
insane. Who's good.
Yeah.
And you know how
Everyone
many
needs to
times
find a Sherry.
You know how many times we have actually spoken? Could you guess how many times Sherry and I,
Well, I
we
tell
have
you what you
actually
should be
probably,
doing before you answer that. You should be
what's
having an
that?
update with her every few weeks.
Yeah, yeah, we do. She sends me emails on a regular basis, sometimes multiple a day, or texts. But I'm saying like actually talking. We probably talked less than 10 times over the last 14 years or so.
Oh my God. So you've never met?
And if I, oh no, we've never met at all.
Oh my God.
Um, yeah,
Wow.
so you got to understand when I was first starting out, I was not the person, I just wanted to be in a house and that's it. Well,
Yeah.
I wasn't going in and meeting out with people and things like that, unless it was a marketing seminar. Those I love going to. But yeah, so we kind of got off
Wow.
on a tangent there.
Wow.
But
But
look, guys,
it is
this
about,
stuff,
sorry, go on.
no, 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 go
No, you
ahead.
do it.
I was just
No.
gonna say it. Yep, it's all about constant monitoring. And sometimes it was like the sleepy example, right? So I saw a few people who said, when you feel sleepy, that's an indication that you need rest. And actually, it's not all the time. Now, I'm not telling you to be unhealthy. We are adults here, right? So just please use your own judgment here. But I know for me, it's not. It is a way for my mind to play tricks. It used to be a way for my mind to play tricks on me because I could get freaking 12 hours worth of sleep 8 hours, which coincidentally, if I get 8 hours of sleep, I'm useless during the day. The last thing you want me to do is get 8 hours. If I get 6 hours, I'm good. My body operates at like top condition. But if I get eight, I'm useless because for some reason I'm even more tired. As weird as that
Yeah.
is. Um, but no, it's listening and understanding who you are, and we get better and better and better at this. It's like having a computer and you switch from PC to Mac. At first, you have no idea what's going on. Then, as you
Yeah.
get a little bit more proficient at it, you're like, oh, okay, so this is how I move my mouse. This is how I pull up the emojis. You start to know yourself the more you are in tune with yourself. No,
Yeah.
I'm not actually sleepy right now. This is just resistance. Maybe I'm bored, right? Maybe I need to get up. And one of the best things to do is get up every 20 minutes, right? We talked about the Pomodoro effect, right? It's getting up, unless you're in the zone, right? And it's all knowing yourself. If I'm in the zone, I get up and I'm screwing things up. So I need to sit there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
When I'm not in the zone, I need to get up every 20 minutes, maybe every 10 minutes, walk around, come back, and then boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So it's knowing
Christine
yourself.
said,
And what works for me
Christine,
is not going to work for you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go
Christine
ahead.
said that feeling sleepy can even be a way of your body telling you that you're thirsty. Absolutely. Drink more water because most of us don't drink enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
keep about five of these things on my desk, right?
Yeah.
In that way, or in my water bottle, right? Because you definitely, and just drinking it out of a bottle is, I'm a little bit paranoid when it comes to this. So I don't just drink out of a bottle. I also drink, we've got like a filter that comes in the service. So I kind of switch it up just in case I'm wrong with one of them. I got it halfway right, right? It's like being a Buddhist and a Christian. You
Yeah.
subscribe to both and you're halfway right.
You can get these water bottles. We're going to order them today, actually, because I'm just to check that we're drinking enough water in the day. Where you've got what is it? You should have every day, average adult, 2 liters of liquids. I think is it, but at
Yeah,
least
it's
um,
for me, I like to drink at least
glasses of 6 of those. Yeah,
16.9 ounces. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, me too. So you can get these bottles, water bottles that are that you wash out. They're not disposable, and it gives you it's like
Mm.
2 liters or whatever, and it gives you markers. Well done. Drink more. You're doing well. Throughout the day. 'Cause some people struggle to drink enough
I got
water,
that.
so it's
Yes,
great.
I have that one.
Do you have that one?
That's
Yeah,
the
I'm
one I
gonna.
have. I have a blue one and a green one, and it has the little markers on there. So I'll drink, and it becomes tough sometimes. So I'm drinking a gallon of water a day. That's my mission. It doesn't always happen because that is it is insane. But if you can get it there, I start early in the morning. The first thing is now we got off on another tangent here. We went from overwhelm
Well,
to
no, because it's
this, and now we're
important.
talking about
It's
water. So
important because drinking good, clean water and enough of it is very good at clearing resistance. Water's got huge, you've got a
absolutely.
huge amount of energy. So actually, it's
Yep.
things like, when that headache's coming, often it's because not that you're tired and that's
Yes.
why you think the headache is because you're not drinking enough. And when you're running events that's why I always drink like crazy when I'm talking. When you're running events, and when you're running like KCF lives, you've got to be really careful. You don't want to get a headache in the
Yeah.
middle of that, and then it turns into a migraine or whatever. So that's all important, because if you know at that point, I'm feeling like this, I need to drink water, as Christine said, or I need to go out for a walk or take a
Yep.
shower in the middle of the day, then that's clearing the energy. I need to do something,
Yep.
even if it's going and making a coffee, which I do. It's clearing the energy. It's about saying,
It's
okay,
resetting.
reset. And that's important.
Yep.
Those physical things are so important. Have an apple, whatever, have an apple a day, and have that sort of discipline, because that's all part of becoming successful. When you look at people that have got all what it takes and they've got it all, you'll see they've also got that going down as well. The morning
They have
shake.
that.
They
Some of
do.
them, yeah.
Yeah, many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Well, they
Some of
say
them.
they do.
Yeah. Some of them still eat the cheeseburgers for lunch in the
Yeah.
middle of the day.
You see it at
Go get
conferences,
two of
don't
them.
you?
Oh my God. And I'm like, dude, really? Like, and this is why you're freaking, but yeah, it's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, look, I haven't had a headache. I'm so like since I can't even remember. It's got to be like 30 years or so since the last time I've had a headache. but it's got to be directly tied to the amount of hydration that I take in, right? And I take the hydration in because I have sickle cell anemia, right? So it's just being hydrated. But there's these correlations to things. It's also the energy level. So every time I go see my doctors, they're like, how do you have this level of energy at 53, right? Or whatever I am right now. I don't even know my own age. It's 52, 53, whatever. And then I'm like, I'm looking at them like, how do you not have the energy at 40? Maybe we should talk. Maybe you should take on some of the things that I'm doing, right?
Yeah. But it's that
So
though, isn't
it
it? I mean, they're around illness
absolutely,
constantly, so they've got to be really
yeah,
careful about their energy. They see sick people or people that need help,
yes,
they've got to be really careful. That's why often they attracted in as well. But the I think the thing is that the energy is also like the sleepy thing. It's the mindset, and all of this that we're talking
yeah,
about today is how do I get? I mean, people talk about mindset like, oh, okay, I've got to do this. I've got to, think like this. I've got to bring it all in. But actually, it's just what's my
that's
mindset? What's
resistance
going
too.
on in my mind? Yeah, what's going on in my
Yeah,
mind? Um, and how do I feel? I think I said this before. I've got a little alarm that comes up on my phone. What frequency am I on every hour? What frequency am I on? And I do it
yeah.
all the time. And I'll tell you what the answer is often it'll be like, overwhelm. Okay, jot that down. Okay, you got this. It's normal to feel like that. You're human, but you're not. So remember that. And then I go through this all the time. What frequency am I on? Tired. And so let's think about that. Drink some more water. And so that sort of taking a stock all the time then gets you to be more deliberate in the day, more aware.
Yeah.
And I tell you, once you get that nailed, then those annoying people don't come near, and the good stuff
Yeah.
tends to flow in more often than not. I know that other things happen all the time as well. And then you start to be in control of your life
You
and of
start
your
to be in
day.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because most
becomes
people go
easier.
around reacting. And I have days like that, go around reacting to the hologram. Um, and
The
and
hologram.
they're not creating anything. They're just a victim of whatever is coming in. Um, and Joe Dispenza talks about this, but he talks about I react all the time. He says I get annoyed when people are rude. I get angry. I get like all these things several times in the day. But the difference now is I'm aware. It's awareness, isn't it? It's the
It is. It
awareness
is. Yep.
of who we are and our power and the awareness of our mood. And that's what the Greatest Secret book, Rhonda Byrne's really good, much better than the Secret book. That's all about. It's you're trying to get to the end of the book to work out what is the greatest secret. Is awareness.
And she's been
That's
giving it
it.
to you.
Okay.
Yep.
We knew it anyway. So it's that. And when you start to do that, you can react, you can even get heated and annoyed or whatever, go for a walk, regroup, that's cleared, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
and then
consistently being aware of it.
it is for sure.
I keep these, you're talking about Rhonda Byrne. I keep these manifestation cards here on this desk here. And every so often I'll pick one of them up, and just take a look at it. Let's look at one right now. Let's see what it says. It says, happiness attracts everything you want. So the shortcut to anything you want in your life is to be and feel happy now. It's the fastest way to bring money and anything else you want. Those feelings of happiness will radiate out and attract back to you all things that bring you happiness, which not only includes an abundance of money, but everything else that you want. Right. So I think these things are so cool. And I forget what I paid like 25 bucks for them. Right. I'm actually going to get another set.
Can you send
Um,
me a set,
I'm
Ty?
gonna
I don't think
actually,
we can get those in the
yeah,
UK. Last time I tried,
yeah, absolutely. Send me
please,
your address and I'll
please,
send you a
yeah.
set. And maybe
Um,
we'll give some of these out away at KCF Live.
oh my
Oh,
gosh,
this
that's
would
a
be a
great
great
idea.
gift to give away.
That's a
Yeah,
great
we'll give a
idea.
ton of these away at KCF Live. Someone was asking me about the date. So it's going to be June 28th, 29th, and 30th. KCFlive.com. So grab your ticket right now, guys. KCFlive.com. Hey, look, this reminds me of ABS. Do you guys know what ABS stands for? And sometimes you're always going to have the resistance too. We're talking about resistance. ABS is always be selling. If you have something
Yeah.
that you believe in, you should always be promoting it. You should always be telling other people about it, right? Now, what's going to happen is you're going to have the resistance. Just now, I got the resistance. I kind of hesitated in regards to telling you guys the URL. Even though I know that KCF Live has done some amazing things for people, even though I know that it's super fun, it's educational, I still had the resistance just now. So
Yeah.
do you see how this works? Like no one gets away from this stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Or the
So
little bit of
it's a
self-doubt when
constant
you're
work.
presenting, or you see a comment in the chat, this is BS. And then you're like, that just
You're
affects
right.
you when you're presenting. And it
You're
is, and
like,
it's
oh my
there all the
God.
time. But I think, if we
Yep.
all just trust that everyone is having that resistance often throughout the day as well, then you realize you're not alone. It's not you that just feels like that.
Yes. Yep.
Everyone, and it's different resistance things for different people, and then there's some common ones,
There's some
and I
common
think
ones. Yeah.
when you know that, whoa, that's powerful in itself. We're just collective, aren't we? So we just all contribute to each other, and then you don't feel separate, because when you're building your business, expanding your business, you can often feel very separate, lonely, and we've talked about that a lot.
Isolated.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so I think just having that awareness, I'm going to write that down on my whiteboard here. Everyone's always going to have resistance, because I sometimes think I'm the only one that's feeling like this today.
And everyone
Um,
has it. Everyone
but
has
everyone
the
else is in the
resistance. Everyone
binge.
has the loneliness. And I'm not saying all at once and continuously, right? They may be fleeting and come out, but everyone has the overwhelm. Everyone has the resistance. Everyone has the feeling of being alone. Everyone has the feeling of I should be where, I should be much greater in my business, in my life, or
Yeah.
whatever it might be, right? uh some people start to have that feeling. I was talking to Josh the other day, Josh and Marty yesterday actually, and he's like, oh my God, man, um I'm getting older and I should be in a much better position, kind of, you know what I mean? I'm like, everyone feels that way, so everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
The one last thing I want to leave everyone with. Oh, go ahead, Caroline, you had something,
No,
right?
I was just going to say, when I was mentioning the Rhonda Byrne, The Greatest Secret book, I know we've talked about that book before, and many of you have read it anyway. And there's a really good, if you there's a lot of content that you don't need to buy out there, as we know. So there's also probably enough if you look at her YouTube interview with Lewis House. In fact,
Yep.
he's interviewed her twice. He's interviewed her remotely, when they weren't, and they've interviewed her in the studio. She's looking great. She really is, and
Yeah,
she's,
she is.
I can't remember
Yeah,
how
she
old
is.
she is. Is she 70? She's like,
Yeah,
whoa,
she's
this
up there.
woman's
She
looking
does look.
great.
Yeah,
It works,
she
believe
lives
it.
in California now.
Does she? Because I think she's Australian, isn't she? Or she from
Yeah.
New Zealand. And so when that interview is great, because it talks a lot about, at the end of it, he said, how would you sum all of this up that you've been talking about, and the secret, the greatest secret, and everything else? And she just said awareness. Because once you've got the awareness, I do that thing I'm doing, then you're connected, and then you don't have to fix it and go,
Yep.
right, let's push against that fear. You just let it through, and then let it pass, and you're like, do whatever your processes are that you do. And it's going to be different for everyone, but it's just the awareness that you can create a letter from the sky that could be cash through the door. That's why people put it out there, and they get a random inheritance from an uncle they never met through the door. Things like that happen to people. Or they win the lotto, or their book goes to number one, and then all of a sudden their business doubles without any effort.
Yeah.
So it's that awareness of source, and our power and everything, and that's the key. So that interview is very good, because you get everything you need in an hour or whatever. And Lewis House
Yeah,
is
that's
such a good
really good,
interviewer.
actually.
He's such a good interviewer, that guy. He really is great at bringing out everything you need. Um,
He does. He is. He's someone that I actually study. He listens, and yeah, I study two people. I actually study a lot of people when it comes to this. One I study is a guy named Noriega, and he has a show called Drink Champs. which is all about hip hop artists. And I actually had, when I used to do parties back when I was in my 20s, coincidentally, he was one of the artists that I brought in. I had hired him. I used to hire a bunch of artists like 50 Cent and him and just different people and bring them down.
Wow.
Um, but he is the worst interviewer, the worst. So I study him to find out what not to do because he's always interrupting his guests. Like I've interrupted you a couple of times today. So I'm always working on it. And in the comments, they just slay him because they're like, please let the artist, the person that you're interviewing talk, right? The guest. So I've been really conscious of letting the guest talk and not talking too much. And then Lewis Howes, who is
Yeah.
really great at asking questions and getting the answers that he thinks the audience, the viewer would like to know, and then kind of letting the guest talk.
He's
So
nice to look
that's
at as
where I've
well,
been
which
at.
is always a bonus.
Yeah, he absolutely is.
Gorgeous.
Not that I
Um,
would know about that.
but he has the
So
greatest guests. You know, Joe Dispenza's been on there, goodness knows how many times. So
multiple
yeah,
times.
really, really worth looking at him on YouTube. He's very good and he's very dreamy. Yeah, Shannon, you're right.
There you go. Shannon's, yeah. So look, I'll leave you guys because we're going off on another tangent here. No, but that's fine. We're having some fun. So the last thing from Outwitting the Devil, you guys should definitely go in and I would advise that you listen to the book. Don't read it because it is a interesting read, difficult read. But there's some theatrics when you listen to it, right? And again, it's whether you're taking this figuratively or literally, where he's talking to the devil. I think the points in it are very valid, right? One of the things he talks about is failure. And when someone comes in and fails, and the devil says, failure is not of my doing. As a matter of fact, I really don't like failure. And then Napoleon Hill says, well, why? I would think that failure is of your doing. And the devil says, no, because if the person that, he says, number one, if the person that fails realizes the power in that, meaning they're really getting a restart. They're getting a fresh way to go in and look at things. And most people who fail, they have an equal or like an equivalent rate of success or much better. Right? You look at Walt Disney, you look at all of the people, Richard Branson, who failed. Many
Yeah,
people don't know about his
yeah,
failures and things like that, right? So, and I actually think that failure is not real. I think that failing and failure are not real until we accept them to be. The moment that you accept it and you say, I'm a failure, that's when it becomes real. But until then, you keep trying, you keep trying, and you keep trying, like you haven't really failed. You're not a failure.
yeah.
So it's continuing to push through. There you
It
go.
is brilliant. I'm gonna download that audio book again. Well, actually, I've got the book,
Yeah,
but
you're gonna
yeah,
love it.
audio book. I think 'cause it's heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, grab the audio. That way you can go in. As a matter of fact, if anyone doesn't want to buy it, which you should buy it, right? We have to get good at buying if we want other people to buy from us. But the audio book is on YouTube. But again, get good at buying, especially if you, because it's again, it goes back to what you were saying. It's
Yeah,
what are you telling the universe? Oh my God, I want people to buy my books, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to see if I can poach it or listen to it for free somewhere.
it's true, isn't it?
Right. So,
That's like resistance. Yeah, flowing in, flowing
yeah,
out, flowing in, flowing out, flowing in. It's key.
flowing in, flowing out. All right, guys, that is it. Go in and register at KCF Live, kcflive.com. Just remind me, we're going to give away, I'm going to actually put these in our KCF Live notes so that we give some of these away because I think these are really cool.
That's a great
Okay,
gift.
they wrong. And if you want yours before KCF Live, just go grab them. That's what the box is amazing. It's got like these foil. It's got like a foil design on it. So she always does things that are pretty cool. And then it
Yeah.
has a little booklet inside of it as well. So it's a really cool way of doing it. There you go, guys. Stay well. We'll see. Next
Big
week,
takeaways from
Caroline
you.
won't be here, but we have an incredible guest. We actually have two guests that were scheduled for next week. And I'm kind of tossing quarters to see who's going to come on. But you're going to love next week's guest. I think it's going to take you to the next level and everything that you do. And a lot of people were talking about how we brought on our last couple of guests and how much they loved them there. So really cool. Caroline, travel
Yeah.
safe. We'll be talking today actually. And
Yeah,
everyone else,
absolutely.
go post your biggest takeaways in the group. Make sure you go post your biggest takeaways because some of you guys have not been doing that. So post them in a group, any group, it doesn't matter where. All right, stay well. We'll see you. Bye bye.
Take care. Have a good week. Bye, everyone.
Count your resistance.